Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. This morning I have Jim with me. Jim is a U.S. Olympian wrestler, well, he was, and so he's going to share his story with us, and I'll be asking the baseline questions all along the way. So without further ado, I'm going to let Jim take it away.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on the show. I am a wrestler by trade. Growing up, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and wrestling is quite popular in the state of Pennsylvania. They fill, Penn State gets 16,000 people for a wrestling match up there regularly. So it's kind of in the blood up there. And I grew up and didn't achieve my goals in high school. My goal was to win the state championship, and not only did I not win the championship, I didn't even finish in the top 6 in the state. I was lucky enough to get recruited to the University of Virginia, where I set a goal of becoming an All-American, and which means finishing top 8 in the nation. And my freshman year, I qualified for the national championships, which is kind of the first step, and failed. My sophomore year, I qualified for the championships again, and again, I fell short of achieving my goal. My junior year, again, I qualified. It was pretty much a repeat of the prior 2 years. It was I qualified for the national championships, but again, I fell short, and I ended with my season. Ended, at the national championships with my face buried in a towel in tears, wondering why I can't do this. What's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Not smart enough? Not capable enough? And so I went into my senior year thinking, do I even have this in me? Am I even good enough to have this goal? And I got to the national championships again my senior year. This time I'd won a few matches, and I got to the round where if I win, I'm an All-American. If I lose, I go home with nothing. And I had to wrestle the 4th-ranked wrestler in the country, and I'd never beaten somebody ranked top 5 in the country before. So it was a huge match for me in front of 15,000 people, and my parents, of course, in the crowd. And we shook hands, and 7 minutes later, which is the length of a college wrestling match, I got my hand raised, and I won. So it was many, many years in the making. And my goal finally came to fruition, but it was not without quite a bit of failure along the path.
Now, do you still coach wrestling? I was going to say teach wrestling, but I know that's not the term. Do you still coach wrestling?
I do not. Well, I should say I do. I coach youth wrestling, but I did coach collegiately for 7 years. And in fact, I was the youngest Division I head wrestling coach in the country. And at one point, and I decided to step away from coaching. It was sort of an all-consuming job that was a lot of fun, but not conducive to having a family. So stepped away from coaching.
Not conducive to having a paycheck either.
Yeah, amen to that. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Not conducive to having a paycheck either, because you guys don't know this. I played soccer when I was walking, and I played tennis when I was walking. Tennis is something I want to get back to, but I remember, and still to this day, my coaches run into me still to this day, and I remember them volunteering to get out on the soccer field. So coaching is not necessarily good for your paycheck.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it was a full-time position, but it was, certainly not what a lot of the, what a college basketball or college football coach makes. That's for darn sure.
That's for darn sure. That's for darn sure. So you have your own podcast. Is it about wrestling, or what is it?
It's called Success Through Failure, and it's about the journey of success and all of the failures that are sort of part and parcel of anybody's success.
Yes. Well, totally awesome. Now, Jim, what is your favorite book? It doesn't have to be a business book. It just has to be a book that you go back to time and time again.
Yeah, the one book that I go back to time and time again is definitely How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's just a great book that has taught me sort of a level of what these days is called emotional intelligence. How to work with people, how to deal with people, how to deal with people in conflict, and how to get people to buy into an idea, et cetera. It's a book that was published in, I think there maybe 1940s. And if you go to Barnes & Noble, it's still on the shelf today. It's just a landmark book that I think everybody should read. And I'm actually going to have my kids read here starting soon. My oldest son turns 12 soon, and I'm going to have him read it. He and I are going to read it together.
Aye. Well, good. So what is your favorite podcast other than your own that you listen to and want my listeners to listen to?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend Charlie the Spaniard Bredeman, his podcast. He is he's a fighter, MMA fighter, retired. I guess he's not technically retired, but he hasn't fought in a while. But he just has an incredible podcast. So just if you go to iTunes or search for him, it's charliespaniard.com is his website, I believe. And if you just look up Charlie Spaniard, you'll find him on iTunes or anywhere else you listen to a podcast. But just a great podcast. He has longer ones that are interviews. He has shorter ones that are just sort of him talking. Just a really great resource.
And what has been your favorite podcast episode you have done that you can recommend that my listeners, if they choose to do so, start listening to your podcast?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great question. So on
Be honest.
Labor Day. Yeah, no, it's on Labor Day. I published episode 109. It's my latest episode. I'm not just saying this because this is my latest episode. Because had you asked me this last week, I would have said episode 94 or 95. But right now, I'm going to tell you 109, and it's with coincidentally another UFC fighter. He's one of the best in the world right now, Justin Wren, W-R-E-N. But he is. He does a lot of work with a nonprofit that does work over in Africa, and he's spent quite a bit of time in the Congo working with the pygmies and sort of helping these people that are sort of, he calls the most bullied people on earth. Justin himself dealt with addiction and went through a lot of struggles in his own life, and now he's helping. Now he's one of the best, strongest fighters in the world, and he's helping some of the most bullied people on earth. He's just an incredible human being. So episode 109.
Episode 109. Yes.
Yep.
I will. We'll have all of Jim's information in the show notes, and I presume his podcast is on his website. But as it stands right now, go listen to episode 109 of Jim's podcast, and you'll understand what he's talking about. And if you had to be educated by anyone, Jim, who would you be and why, inside or outside your field?
Yeah, I would say somebody like an Elon Musk, who is the founder of Tesla and just a huge thinker. He doesn't see obstacles or he sees them in different ways than the rest of us do. Most other people do. He thinks huge and he fails along the way, but he accomplishes just world changing things through his mindset.
And what is your favorite technology tool that you use on a daily basis?
So simple, but it's so great. It is Google Docs. Google is Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, etc. They're, you can share them. You can share with other individuals. You can share with specific people, or you can share with everybody. You can excuse me, you can have multiple people editing the same Google Doc or Google spreadsheet at the same time. You can quickly and easily create simple forms that people can fill out, and all that content, all the results go into a spreadsheet. I mean, it's just a super simple tool. Everything's drag and drop in terms of organizing folders, et cetera. Just super, and it's all very searchable too. So I love Google Docs, Google spreadsheets, Google Forms, et cetera.
And Google actually has an iOS app, and I believe they have an Android app, and they have Android tablet app. I know they have the iPad app because I use it all the time to write my book. So you can do Google on the go and use Google Docs on the go too. You guys.
Yep. Google Docs and
Yep.
Google Drive is the sort of
Google Docs and Google Drive save companies 1,000 miles a minute. And so, where can people find you, Jim?
You can find me at my website, Jim Harshaw, Jr. for Junior, JimHarshawJr.com. If you just search my name, Jim Harshaw, you'll find me. But JimHarshawJr.com, on Twitter at Jim Harshaw, Instagram, Jim Harshaw Jr. You can find me on YouTube. Just search Jim Harshaw on YouTube, and you'll find me there as well.
And before I let Jim go, I'm going to let him ask me a couple of questions about anything that he's curious about me.
Yeah, tell me, what do you think, I'm curious, what do you think drives you to have a podcast, to write a book? I mean, I think so many people see something like cerebral palsy as an obstacle and would stop them from doing everything that you're doing. What do you think sets you apart? Why are you different? What kind of has gotten into your mind that has given you different motivation?
Well, as I was talking about on my last podcast recording, all about mindset with Jeff Bosniak, I was raised as if I had no disability, so I saw myself as an able-bodied woman, and I still see myself as an able-bodied woman to this day, and I'm 30 years old, and so my stop and smell the roses moment drove me to do the work that I'm doing now, and as you guys know, I'm on the track to journalism, to get a journalism degree, and so my positive outlook on life and my stop and smell the roses moments has drove me to the work I'm doing now.
Yeah. And what's sort of the hardest part of your cerebral palsy that you've had to deal with to do the things that you do on a daily basis?
Dealing with my knees, my bad back, and my tone. Oh, those are three things I wouldn't wish on anyone. Tone is muscle spasms. I have over 1,000 muscle spasms a day. I can't even feel them. I have a bad back. I have bad knees, and they do a sideways dance, and it's not fun when they do a sideways dance, meaning they pop out, meaning they subflux. And so bad back, bad knees, and tone, which is part of cerebral palsy, I will not wish on anyone, but I pretty much know when it's coming, how to deal with it, and no, I'm not on any medication.
Wow.
So, yeah, those are my challenges, but it doesn't stop me. The bad knee gap doesn't stop me, and bad back doesn't stop me. The tone may stop me on the occasion, but I try not to let it stop me.
That's great.
So, Jim, what would be a closing piece of advice for this interview?
I would suggest people just understand that their failures are part of success. Everybody has self-doubt. I interview billionaires and astronauts and professional athletes, and these are people who we all kind of assume that they don't have doubt, right? They don't have fear. They don't struggle. They don't have this adversity that we all have in our life. And what my podcast really does is reveals that everybody deals with these failures, these struggles, these setbacks, and most especially those who have found success, those folks who have experienced those failures and been able to push through them. So I would challenge everybody listening to consider their failures and consider their self-doubt as a normal step on the path to success.
Wow, that's great. A great piece of advice. And Jim, I wish you the best of luck, and I will probably stick your TED Talk in the show notes. Jim did a TED Talk, which I haven't seen yet. That me haven't done the research on guests, but I will definitely see it in the next couple days. And Jim, I wish you the best of luck with your podcast, and I hope you enjoyed another fabulous episode of the Butterflies of Wisdom. Butterflies of Wisdom is sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is a clothing line out of California, and they're giving you 20% off when you type in code Extra Butterflies. All that information will be in the show notes, and I will keep you guys updated on my journalism degree, even though I'm keeping it close to my chest because I think it's better off that way. And I will also keep you guys updated on the progress of my books and my podcast. And if I land up stepping away from the education field to continue the work I'm doing, thanks to you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.